Hey everyone, this is CE3. Took this month of March off so I can focus on travel. Basically went around the country doing work things, and I didn't have too much time to play a quality season of HD. So I wanted to talk about kind of a hot topic, and that is, are Lancers busted in the sense that are these so strong that it's bad for the game? And as a game developer, I care about this because I don't want anything to be bad for the game. So let's talk about it. This is going to be like a major stream of consciousness video where I basically just talk about stuff endlessly until I reach a point where I'm like satisfied with the things I've thought through. And yeah, we'll explore a lot of different topics. Okay, so let's begin by defining what bad for the game is. So, there are a lot of definitions for bad for the game. I would say my primary definition is if there is a mercenary that's so strong that you have to build it and nobody can fairly compete against you and you farm the crap out of everybody in the game, that's bad for the game. So if one thing is so overwhelmingly strong and it's influencing your decision making and it makes you feel like you don't have a choice in the game, I would call that bad for the game. Um, I can't think of any other thing specifically that would be bad. I think in High Descent, a mercenary or a type of mercenary that's overpowered and forces you to build it to stay competitive is probably the most likely culprit for being bad for the game. So there's a lot of commentary about how Lancers are bad for the game. So I want to look into that. So what I did was, so I've been like everywhere in this sort of HD community. I've been in pretty much every serious alliance. That's at least serious modern alliance. But I re-entered KOTR. KOTR has a lot of experienced players, and not only are the players experienced, but they're very opinionated. Let's see who's on KOTR this season. Shiny. um, yeah, and then Alkuro, who was part of the effort to develop the Lancer, Azrael, Lancelot, for Shard. You know, these people are always important voices in the community. So I went into that Discord and I asked, I basically said, like, hey guys, I'm here to read the chat, potentially working on some game balance things. So I'm interested in seeing what experienced players have to say. So I'm going to read some of their responses. And this is all just their opinion. And I think they back up their opinion with explanations. So we'll go through that. And then I'll also talk about the previous month. And I went full on Lancers and what that was about. Okay. Um, okay, so uh N Gibby or N Gibby, I don't know which one it is. I'm just gonna call him N. N says, let's see here. Nerf attacking melee slash give us a legit defensive mounted and buff attacking mounted. Make it a rock paper scissors where attacking melee beats attacking mounted beats triangle, and triangle beats attacking melee the vast majority of the time. Um, which is interesting because Azrael says the Lancer introduced too much imbalance. Still not convinced. Then I asked him, what kind of imbalance do you sense and how is it bad for the game? And he writes, when the Lancer was introduced, it was basically, it made mounted obsolete both on offense and defense because of the bonuses. That's true. I think for the most part, because Lancers were just better mounted. Mounted just can't compete with that. And the Archer bonus is not there against Lancers, so they were better all around. Then their defending ability was removed, which is also true. But they're still effective against mounts, but can't defend against Lancers anymore. So now we have this offensive force that can't be stopped, right? So his logic is mounted is made obsolete by Lancers, and Lancers used to defend, but Lancers can no longer defend, and so now there's a vacuum, and you're forced to use a defensive mounted against an offensive Lancer, and the offensive Lancer wins. That's his point, I guess. And then he says, granted, I haven't played attack backdoor setup since you were introduced, so I don't know what happens when they hit counter melee. So I'll tell you what happens. But backdoor attacks can't be stopped by triangles, and that's probably okay. What I don't like is that attack melee can't stop Lancers either, and attack melee versus attack backdoor setups have come down to who gets to attack more often through either speed or mass. Melee usually wins there, though. And then there's some comments about how rogues with high agility can beat Lancers, and some like rock, paper, scissors. Then it shouldn't take a perfect triangle to win against 80% of melee. It's very hard to beat them with a triangle, actually. So there's a lot of layers to this. So, by the way, I'm Chinese, so I'm eating snacks with chopsticks. I just don't want my hands to get all snacky. Forgive me. Okay. So, my first instinct here is to say this. If Lancers are such a powerful offensive force that can't be stopped, let's find an example of a player that's exploiting it and winning and making the game not that fun. Right? Because I think most would argue that the point of the game is to win, and most would find a player exploiting an always winning strategy to be objectionable, right? So I haven't played this season. Stepping back made me realize just how much smurfing I do in this game. Like, none of these accounts are mine. I'm not smurfing in any capacity, and it's just like mind-blowing. Just like, I think I'm responsible for like 80% of the smurfing in this game, which is really bad, but okay. So I'm just gonna spy everyone and comment. So this is Frost. This is his like attacking triangle sort of build. So this build does not exploit Lancers at all. Whomper Squamps, I keep in touch with the Illuminati Discord. This is a triangle, and it does not exploit Lancers at all. Right? There's not a single Lancer on this team. Jackal does not seem to have a single Lancer. Okay? Shiny is... This is attacking melee with a strange bowman. I don't think the bowman should be there, but it's okay. I'm not playing. It's my opinion. Cool. Okay, so yeah, it is what it is. There's no Lancer play here. Regidor has no Lancers at all. Okay? Lord Fletcher has no Lancers. What is this? This is a triangle. Yes, this is a triangle. Then you have Pistol. I'm going to open this other tab here. Pistol has attacking Lancers. Okay? So we're going to save Pistol and flag that he has attacking Lancers. I think Pistol is Jib. Right? And then Pin has attacking Lancers, or attacking mounts. He's got 2 Barons in there as well. Okay, so Pistol and Pin. And then Alkuro, our friend on the team, is playing a triangle. This is it's kind of weird, but it's a triangle. Okay. Owns is playing a triangle. No. This is okay, it's not a triangle. This is attacking mount. Okay? So you have Pistol, Pin, Owns. Josher is some attacking mount. He's got a lot of mercs. Okay. All right. So we'll save him. Defrost. Defrost is hilarious. This is attacking melee. Okay. All right. Fantastic. And then Lancelot is, what is he? This is some attacking triangle that's okay. So it is a mount build but with archers, which is strange, but okay. All right, it's there. He's doing it. Okay, and then Donut's by level 50. Okay, Azrael is playing attack melee. Yes. Yes. And then there's this interesting Lancer here. Okay, sure. N Gibby or N Gibby. N, I forgot I was gonna call him N, is by level 50. Zara is by level 50. Dumb is gonna always do this. This is attacking. Okay. Okay, and then we're getting into multi-territory. Okay, so the multis are kind of an issue. I'll speak about that separately. But they basically buy every merc from the merchant. And then they have this stupid berserker here. Okay, so I'm not going to spy the multis. They're pretty predictable. I'm going to spy these guys. So Jib is by level 50. He's just trolling. Palcan is by level 50. He's always trolling. And then Lassadar, it doesn't look like he's trying, but this is some random amalgamation of mercs that's just like, whatever. Okay. So we have like these 6 players that are playing some form of attacking mount. Half of these are multis. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, Owns, Josher, and Lancelot are normal accounts. Pistol, Pin, and Dumb are multis. Now, if you look at last reset, they are the highest ranking attack mounted player. They're 2,000 points behind the top players. They're never going to catch up. Like, they are basically, like, this is right here, this is stuck in the gutter. Like, it's not productive from, like, an XP earning perspective. And so, my big question is, if mounts are so OP, where are they? Right? Why are half the serious mount players multis and the other 3 underperforming if they're so good? Right? That's a really interesting question. So I'll talk about my experience playing last season. So by the way, what happened last season? Let me just figure it out. Okay, I got second. I absolutely hated playing last season. Okay, like, I think winning was like maybe 10% possible. But I knew I was talking to my team really early on, and I told them, like, yeah, this is gonna feel like crap at the end. So I will start listing reasons why it feels like crap at the end of the game. Okay? So when you're playing attacking mounted, the counterplay is really easy. Let's say, so what I did was I played 4 tanks in the melee, and then I played probably, I think it was 5 or 6 mount. I forgot. I think I can actually see in the museum what I did, because it's like there, right? Historical records. This one here. Yeah, I had 9 mercs. So it was 4 plus 5. Okay. It was 4 plus 5. And what happened was I lost to anybody with more than 5 lancers. Like, it was like a water balloon fight. Like, even if I had a level advantage, like Defrost, like this troll, like in number 13 with like 3k less experience, had one more Lancer, I couldn't attack him. Because I would just randomly get crit and lose. I couldn't attack Josher because he had more Lancers. I was better from a point earning perspective, but I just couldn't touch him. I couldn't touch anybody who had a big melee bundle of mercs like Shiny, Jamai. All of these people became really hard to attack because they had too many melee mercs. Frost was really easy because Mounted is really good against his type of setup because his type of setup is slow, right? It's not like Melee where every single merc is just trying to kill your front line. Like he has some walls in there, the archers are kind of slow. It gives my mounts an opportunity to backdoor. So actually, despite him winning, he was actually one of the easiest targets for me. The harder ones were the builds that were extreme, right? They were the melee mercs with tons of mercs all over the place, and people that mindlessly purchased more lancers than me, right? Even weak players that purchased more lancers were just better, and I couldn't attack them. And you know what? Even these multis were better, and I couldn't attack them because they had so many random mercs in their mount sort of area that it just became unsafe to attack. It was infuriating, right? So I don't think, yeah, mounts like the stats look like they just outperform defender mercs much better, but they encounter a lot of real world problems when you play them. Sorry, I'm like totally snacking here, but I'm really hungry. They encounter a lot of very serious real world problems that you don't think about until you're there, and then you're like, oh crap, I cannot beat Charity, and it's embarrassing, right? And these people, like Dumb, for example, yeah, like he might have a problem against a lot of other players that you think are like completely silly, right? So is playing mounts a free ticket to winning? I honestly don't think so. If it was, somebody would do it. And I tried to do it, and it felt like crap. Should I have merchanted? Yes. Did I have time to merchant? No. Right? I think I could have last season probably merchanted better and spent way more time playing HD for a better outcome, but I didn't have the time and I didn't change my final build. I think adjusting and min maxing your XP earning late game is a crazy skill in HD that not a lot of people have a good grasp for. I think recently the player that has been the best at grasping that concept is Dynamis. If you watched his by level 30 wins when he played full melee, he'd often tack a lot of merchant mercs at the end because he's making a trade-off. Yes, I can rush attacks, but if I rush attacks and I don't make my lineup stronger, I lose the ability to farm the multis that will eventually pick up more mercs, and my investment in attacks will not yield good earnings. And so I might as well forego the earnings to be stronger, and I can earn more points farming more valuable targets. And then down the road, once I scale, I can get more attacks. So the ability to make that type of decision confidently is a huge skill that I don't see a lot of players use. It feels like a lot of players don't think about that element of the game. And so I think about it and I thought about it last season. I just didn't act on it and I didn't do it at all because I had no time to watch the merchant, and the market last month was also like very limited because it was a short month and people were not rushing like crazy, right? So yeah, could the game have been different? Yes, but let's say hypothetically I was a full-time HD player and I just chilled at home and ate all my meals here and didn't sleep and camped the merchant, and I somehow strengthened and min-maxed my ability to earn by balancing lineup strength with yield. I would call that winning because of HD skill and not winning because of Lancers being OP. Right? That's my thought. Obviously I didn't win, so I can't call that anything. But hypothetically, if that happened, that's what I would call it. I don't see any evidence that Lancers are OP in like a real world game setting. In fact, this is going to sound like really weirdly extreme. Like, I think they're underpowered because I don't think it's possible to win with attacking mount. I actually don't. Even after they buffed, and even after we removed the defending Lancers, I still don't think it's possible in this current iteration of the game to win playing offensive mount. Can you be really strong and piss off a lot of players who think they're entitled to beat you? Yes. But I don't think you can out-earn people that are better at exploiting weaknesses in other people's setups. So let me talk about Frost's attacking triangle. Frost's attacking triangle is good in this environment because it's strong against a large variety of weak builds. Extreme builds, but weak. Right? So there are a lot of extreme builds. So I'll give you an example. It's good against low-level, bad melee builds. Like, let's look at... No offense, guys. Okay, I'm not going to name any names because I feel like I'm going to offend someone. But, yeah. Let's say that you were at a level disadvantage and Frost reached final by level faster than you, and he had, like, several levels over you. But you had more mercs. Yeah, his melee mercs would trade with your melee mercs, but then your reduced frontline will run into his tanks, won't be able to kill them, and his archers will kill you. Right? So if you're worse than Frost at HD, but you have a very extreme build, you will lose against Frost. But if you were playing mounts, let's say I was playing like 4+5, right? 4 melee, 5 mounts, and I encountered a player that was worse at the game but played a bunch of melee, they could beat me. Their melee could, like, if they had like 9 melee mercs, 10 melee mercs, they could crit my guys, leverage the 15%, and totally win. Okay, they wouldn't win all the time, but I think the certainty of Frost beating a player like that is much higher than me playing 4+5 beating them like that. And that holds true for extreme mount lineups too. If you're at a level disadvantage and you have a ton of mounts, yes, you will beat 4+5. If you had like 2+8, right? And honestly, like, I think Defrost had like a complete BS setup like that. It was ridiculous. It was like 3+7 or 2+8 or something weird. I don't remember. Maybe whoever it is can, like, I don't know if he's around even, but like he can disclose what he did. It virtually had no use anywhere else except to troll other mount players because it was just bad against everything else. Maybe like it would beat weak triangles, right? But it was just good against offensive mount because 8 is greater than 5, right? Or 7 is greater than 5, even with a level disadvantage. But if you play 7 mounts against Frost's armor swapped Baron or armor swapped Knight, that armor swapped Knight would eat all of those Lancers for breakfast because the armor swapped Knight would have a level advantage, right? And the Frost attacking triangle is more effective against the multis for a longer time. I don't think he was able to beat the multis like super late game, but he was able to attack them for a much longer time because of just his catch-all nature of his build. On top of that, he's basically like became an entrepreneur and started his own buffet, right? Like he can look at the merchant and be like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that." Like it doesn't matter if it's a tank or whatever, as long as it's a melee merc, he can take it and absorb it into his build. I don't know how much he merchanted in that month. Maybe he didn't need to, because his build was already like pretty good at addressing players worse than him. And yeah, honestly, like most players in HD are fundamentally worse than Frost, right? So when he plays and he reaches final buy level fast and everyone is slower than him and he builds this thing that can address the wide majority of the things, he is literally eating you at the buffet, right? So yeah, I think long story short, like February was tough for attacking mounts because it was not as effective as Frost's buffet at addressing all the weaker but more extreme threats. Okay, there are players like Dumb, right? I have no idea how I guessed this tab was dumb. This is a stupid build. Okay, like there is nothing intelligent. Like if there's a knifeman, it will kill this front line. Like all of these 2 mercs died in knifeman. These 2 mercs get crit and do no damage. They're just like meat shields. Like this build has no utility outside of beating obviously weak targets and trolling other mount builds with fewer mount units, right? So I guess my main point here is mounts are not as simple as you think. They actually die to a lot of melee mercs. Melee mercs, especially higher agility ones, do kill off the mounts in a pretty unpleasant way. I think melee mercs have an attack bonus. Let's find out. It's been a while. Yeah. The Lancers are weak against melee. And the ranged units are strong against Lancers. So, yeah, like I don't think it's that simple. So let's go back to Discord. Let's talk about what everyone else is saying. So, okay, let me try to hear. So, okay, let's talk about triangles. It's actually very wasteful for a triangle to invest in a rogue. Yeah, defense rogues are kind of in a weird position. The last time I played, they have the constitution of tissue, right? They are not very sturdy. What kills the triangle most is that it can't beat charity multis. Let's find out. Now I want to see this. Okay. We're going to pull up the most nefarious charity multi. The highest ranked charity multi, Charna. The best triangle, Whomper Squamps. Okay. So, we have I don't know if this is armor swapped. Okay, so we'll just have an open mind here. We have 541, 303. And that will wall every single unit here, right? This is 549, 244. This is 525, 294. So yeah. Like, this is a slightly risky attack because we have like excess damage here, but it's not that bad. Like, I would say that this is not an unreasonable attack, especially when Charna's frontline is this savage and this berserker. Like, this is a terrible frontline. Um so my thought here is the triangle bad against multis, or are you just bad at the game and you can't beat the multis? So, being bad at the game has several elements, right? Number one, you're bad at buy level rushing. Number two, you're bad at allocating mercs. I think being bad at buy level rushing is a much more serious problem because if you don't reach final buy level, you don't have the points to allocate to your mercs. You just mathematically don't have enough points, right? So if you were good and you reached final buy level equal to the people in the race, you would then level up your mercs normally and they would have the points to allocate. That's why these mercs are under 20 and charities, no, sorry, not charity, Womper Squamps. I'm so sorry for confusing you with charity. That Jib is charity, not Womper Squamps. Womper Squamps has a level 25 Baron because he is much more reasonable at reaching final buy level compared to this person who doesn't value punctuality, right? And same thing with Frost. Like, his Baron also level 25. There's a huge level advantage. So if you don't buy level rush on time versus your competitors, you're at a huge disadvantage. And it can feel like, yes, you build a triangle, and yes, I think even if you're slow at buy level rushing, you can still be good at HD by allocating in a proper direction and being smart and kind of adapting to the competition, right? That's one element of being good at HD. But if you reach final buy level late and you don't do something extreme to compensate for it, that's just bad HD. So, yeah. Is the point what kills a triangle most is that it can't beat charity multis? I halfway believe that if you're bad at HD. If you're not bad at HD, I think you can use a level advantage. The level advantage is the biggest screw you can ever give a person in HD. If you have a level 25 Baron that you've raised on the earliest day possible against everybody in the server, there is no way that their attacking mount can be on an equal level as your defending mounts, because defending mounts have way better survivability. You can just say screw you to 90% of the players because they're just worse than you at buy level rushing. That's my sort of take on these multis. But yeah, if you're a little late and you don't allocate correctly, or if you don't allocate to salary and you don't enhance your mercs, then yes, you will feel pressure against Charna, Charity, whatever, you will feel pressure, right? Um, yes, he also mentioned weapon enhancement, discount benefit in knife wielders. Yeah, it's just dual wielders. It did benefit the those mercs a lot. And maybe that's why people are calling into question how good rogues are, because they just get destroyed by knives. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, okay, and then he says he doesn't like the 10 merc meta. I don't think I do either. like, but you will figure that one out. That's a very complicated topic. It's probably like I can spend an hour talking about it. Um, yeah. So let me think about this. So I want to know, for the people that think Lancers are bad for the game and overpowered, I want to know what specifically about them in game is bothering them. Because it doesn't look like anybody's bothering anybody with Lancers. Like, I thought like low key people would complain about me last game, like, oh yeah, a game developer buffed Lancers and is playing Lancers. Nobody bothered because I was like eating crap the entire season. Like it just felt terrible, and I'm like, I played for first or nothing, and it was just like doomed. I hired my first attack Lancer, and I was like, okay, this has become a science experiment. It's not gonna win. Yeah, I want to know like what exactly is bothering you. It doesn't have to bother you like directly. There doesn't have to be this asshole that buys all the Lancers and you're like, man, like he's messing up the game, right? But okay, if that's not the case, then the question becomes what about the Lancer exists that puts pressure on you to make decisions in a way that you ordinarily wouldn't, right? So let's say you're first to buy level, a final buy level, and you're scared that everybody in the server will just start piling up Lancers and you're the poor loser having a triangle and the Lancers are going to have their way with you. You know, is there an articulable fear of that happening? And if so, how does that influence your gameplay? I want to know that, right? Are people that are calculating their final build who reach by level final by level first, are they calculating that? And if so, does the presence of these Lancers with these stats influence their calculation? That I'm curious about. But a comment on triangles. I'm a big triangle player. I've played triangles for more than a decade. Maybe what this means is to play a good triangle, you need to invest more in strength because the whole point of a triangle is predictability and consistency. So maybe instead of one salary point that you allocate to moving up, you allocate 2 or 3 salary points. And yes, you'll be behind an attack, but you'll win more attacks consistently. And you won't have freak accidents. Like I had like 7 freak accidents last last month, and yeah, like I had 9 offensive losses, and it's just completely stupid. But like, I think 2/3 of those were just like I couldn't fathom what happened when they happened. But had I invested more in lineup strength, maybe those accidents wouldn't have occurred, right? So maybe the calculus for building a triangle has shifted in 2026, and it involves prioritizing strength instead of just baking the triangle and just have like going along with it. Maybe that's not how triangle should be played. Maybe, right? So what I noticed was when I played attacking Lancers, I had to have an attacking mount there because attacking mounts have attack bonuses against melee, and sometimes I would get countered by random agility rogues. Agility rogues by worse players that have no other purpose but dodging random attacks and killing your Lancers, right? So, yeah, that dilutes the offensive capabilities of the build too, because as everyone has observed, mounts are just worse version of Lancers. Yeah. So, what would it take? Oh, by the way, like, okay. So last season, I tried reasonably hard to win. I didn't do everything I could under the sun to win because I have a life, but I tried reasonably hard. Like, I reached final buy level without making mistakes, and I built something that I thought would represent what a good attacking Lancer build would be, like a very logical build would be. And it didn't win because it was worse at doing a lot of things that Frost was doing. So it just makes me wonder what needs to happen to enable that winning. How much stronger do Lancers need to be to make it so that a person can win without putting in a ton of effort? I don't know. Like, even if they were buffed 5-10 more%, I still don't believe that they would be better than like Frost's attacking triangle. If we had 200 more people in the server, yeah, I think Lancers would be a pretty reliable way to win. Right now, the game, because it's underpopulated, it doesn't give you a lot of choice on who to attack. And if you have like 18 attacks, you kind of have to attack people in the top 25, right? And then some of them just have dumb builds that you can't beat, that have like that don't follow any logic, like 2+8, or Charna's stupid amalgamation of garbage. Like Charna is basically 2+8, right? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2+6, right? Which is more than 5. So it's just weird. Yeah, the whole thing's weird. And plus, like last season, we were going by level 30, and Charna was by level 40. There's no chance of beating this. So yeah, like when you're forced to attack people in that top range, there's just no gameplay. And but if the game was more populated and the top 200 all had, there were 20 nice targets in the top 50, I think I think that makes sense. So are Lancers OP? Yes and no. Practically speaking, there is no evidence of a Lancer build being bad for the game. I don't see it. It doesn't exist. But if the game was more populated, could they be better? And could they be bad for the game? Possibly. It's hard to imagine what the game would look like if there were like 300 people playing, all of them trying hard to win. But even that, I think, would be like halfway a toss up. So, yeah, I don't know. So, the other question for developers is, do we design the game to suit the ecosystem that exists now and the environment and the player base? I'm sorry, I have to scroll off. This cuirassier is named Boner, and I can't stop. Okay, I'm gonna look at the mounted that says didgeridoo. It's a lot better. Um, but yeah, like should we design the game to fit the environment that exists today, or should it be based on a more distanced view of stats? Like if you look at Lancer stats, the numbers are pretty big, and then you're like, wow, these numbers are big. Should they be based on a view of the numbers or the actual ecosystem? Personally, I would actually build it based on the current environment and adjust it as the environment grows, because the environment is what the people are playing, and you don't want to piss off like the player base that exists now. But it seems like people are pissed off at the game. People think that Lancers are OP. Hopefully, the points that I made um, make sense. Um, yeah, like all these people leaving. Okay, I'm just looking at Azrael's pizzas. Like, I'm just scrolling through this Discord and I'm looking at his pizzas. Um, so, I mean, clearly, the people leaving this feedback are experienced winning players. Um, so their feelings, well, they're human beings, so their feelings need to be like considered. But yeah, um, okay, all right. So, but at the same time, the reason people feel a certain way is not related to game design. Okay, I think Lancelot's typing, but I'm reading through this Discord, and Alkuro is saying, um, he's complaining that the let's see here, triangle beats melee, right? When you compare these two beside speeds, what do you see? Um, let's see here. Melee is just way too fast. It has thrown everything else off. That's what N is saying. It's crazy. Um, my season is over. 3 losses, 1 stale so far. I can't hit most melee nor mounted anymore. It's crazy. Next season, I need to go either melee or mounted, or try Triforce hybrid build. That sucks so bad. I love playing triangle. Yeah, okay. This is gonna sound like really bad, but I think you should just get better at the game. Right? Like, you can't hit melee or mounted anymore because you are under leveled and they have more points to spend and you don't have any advantage. And when you play a triangle and you don't have any level advantage, it just feels terrible because triangle is slow, right? Like, you use your tanks to counter and kill, and then you slowly grind them down. And you are not entitled to play a triangle if you're behind in bi-level rushing. It's just bad, right? So like, if you're slow to reach final bi-level, I have two recommendations. One, get better. If you don't feel like getting better, that's okay. Just play melee or mounted, right? If you try Frost's hybrid build, you will eat dirt as well because it's really hard to play. And if you don't have really strong game vision, you'll just end up losing to everyone as well. But if you love playing triangle, contact me and I can teach you how to bi-level rush. Because that's really what it is. Like, if you bi-level rush and you get to final bi-level fast, you can do whatever you want and give people the middle finger. It doesn't matter. You'll have level 25 mercs when everyone has like level 19, level 20 mercs, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, I would not confuse poor gameplay with poor game design. That's my sort of like unfiltered opinion as a person who's not playing this season. Um, yeah, like, if you played well, like, Whomper Squamps is one of the smartest modern HD players. He's playing a triangle, right? He's losing to Frost currently, but I mean, like, this guy is playing a legitimate triangle, and I think he has a shot, like a slim shot at winning. Like, it's there, right? He's not eating dirt. He's existing. Um, yeah. So there is evidence that if you're appropriately leveled, you can play the triangle. I just think it's a fiction to expect yourself to play an effective triangle when you're behind on bi-level rushing. Um, okay, so I think I've said everything I want to say. It was actually really nice to take a break because I've been playing HD so constantly for such a long time. And every day you're just worried about making a mistake, and you just go days and days and days, weeks and weeks and weeks without making a mistake. And then one mistake makes you feel like you've derailed all the effort you've put in, and it just feels so bad. It's so punishing. So it's good to take a break, but I also, like, this game is part of my lifestyle. I want to play it again. And so, yeah, I'll be back in some way next month. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose between two paths. One, I'll become a player and I'll play the game with everyone. I love this community. Or two, I'll have time if I don't play to mentor one or two players. Um, I think that one of the better qualities of my gameplay is I'm very efficient at bi level rushing and I don't make mistakes early game. Like, I'm able to get to final bi level fast with almost virtually no mistake. So if you want to learn how to do that, hit me up. I will do it for free. I'll talk to you all day about how to do this. We can make content together. I'll VC and I'll teach you how to do what I do. And maybe if you reach final by level fast, you'll have more flexibility with what you build and you won't feel so helpless against extreme builds. Because I do think facing extreme builds takes a level advantage. right? Um, but yeah, long story short, I don't see any problems with the Lancers despite the complaining. But I am interested in listening to the complaining. If you want to tell me specifically what players are causing you to feel bad and what mercs specifically in the game that you can like copy and paste into the chat that I'm like, wow, that's too strong. Like shouldn't be allowed. Like I want to see that. Um, and yeah, like remember that it's really hard to judge something unless you actually do it and you try to win and then you feel helpless. Like literally last month I felt helpless. Like there was not one point in the season where I was confident I was going to win because it's just not realistic. And this is after tons of buffs, and we also buffed weapon enhancement, which I thought was a really good idea because the month before we had mega tanks like blade dancers walling everything and like thousands of lines of script and like random crits. Like that was rough, and I think Azrael won that, right? Um, Let me see. That was like, yeah, he won that. So what that means is he's just better at doing that. Like he is better in an environment where playing this style is desirable. And I think like yeah, it's when the game changes, the skills needed to win are different. And right now I think that's just the combination of skills needed. That's the Frost hybrid, but you just have to be good at reaching final by level, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, I want to know what people are thinking. Let me scroll up a little more, see if there's any points that I want to like target here. Um, so I'm looking at Azrael's oxtail. It looks amazing. This guy has a great life. He's just posting all this pizza and stuff. I'm like, okay, right. Um, who's complaining? I want to see all the complaints. I take these complaints really seriously. I want to study all the complaints basically. Right. Okay, now this is a chat about oxtail. Um, yeah. What? I'm mentioned here. Ah, okay. Triangle, but there are no triangles. Okay. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Um, Now I'm mid month. Okay. Um, I'm really glad Azrael's playing melee because he's such a big triangle guy. This will just make him a better player. Um, yeah, I don't see anything here that I think I should address immediately. Um, yeah, so hopefully we gave this a watch. Hopefully nothing I said offends anybody. Um, I don't mean to offend anybody directly. If I say you're bad at the game, it's because there is evidence that you reach final by a level slower. It's just based on observable numbers. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or I think less of you. Um, it is what it is, and you can always improve and get really good. Um, yeah, and then there's some stuff here. Okay, so the early game is like whatever, because like people have like tens of thousands of points. Um, okay, great. So I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this video now. It's been almost an hour. Hopefully, this podcast length video was interesting. This is how I view the game, by the way. I know it's like kind of extreme, but this is everything Like I think about all of this stuff in the matter of minutes when I play the game. It's finally good to get it out. But yeah, this is what I believe. If you have any comments, feedback, let me know. And we'll see you next time. If you want to talk to me about gameplay, and if I get like one or two people interested in getting good at the game, I can pause my return as a player and help develop them. Um, and Yeah, see how we can grow together. Not forcing anybody to do that. So if you don't want to do that, I'll return as a player and I'll play it myself. So yeah, see you in High Descent sometime next month. And if you're watching and you're not playing, I recommend you play. This game is amazing. The community is amazing, and it can only survive if you play the game and interact with all the other amazing people. So if you have spare time, definitely do it. Goodbye.